Hello, thank you for the question. So there isn't anything major that I've changed within Xcode to make it more accessible than it already is, but I've made a few tweaks and changed some settings to just help speed up my workflow and make it a little bit faster, which I'll show you them now as well. And I'll also take this opportunity to show you some of the macOS accessibility settings that I've changed. So first of all, with some of the key bindings, I haven't really changed anything in here except removing the print keyboard shortcut, because every single time I wanted to refresh the SwiftUI preview, it would just show me the print dialog, and I didn't want that. Nothing really has changed in here. Knowing these commands and the keyboard shortcuts just helps me work a lot faster, especially when I'm moving quite quickly, zooming around a lot. So in text editing, most of these are just personal preference as to how you like to format your code. But the one I recommend turning on is this code folding ribbon, which gives you this nice ribbon on the side to fold your code away. This is very useful in large projects and large files where all the code can be quite overwhelming and you need to scroll a lot as well. So just folding all the braces away and also almost sort of seeing the interface of the file. For my code themes, I'm just using this default dark, but just with the background completely black. I've got this midnight theme as well, which I don't really use often, but it's there in case I want to use it. Both of them are at 18 points of font size. 18 is enough to where I can display a lot of code on the screen, but to where I only need to zoom in a little bit to actually be able to read the code. But I think the hidden gem feature in Xcode that I think everyone should start using is these behaviors. I've got mine set to build, succeed, fail, same for testing, same for running as well, to where it plays a sound whenever my build succeeds or fails. So if I close settings and I hit build, you see it shows this little thing at the bottom, and it also plays the sound as well. Let me see if I can turn up the volume. So if I'm zoomed in all the way and I would just want to build my code, I can just hit Command B, hear the sound, and know the build's successful. Or, you know, if the build errors out, then I get that noise telling me, hey, something's wrong. And it will also open the side panel to let me know what's wrong as well. That's really all for Xcode specific settings. I've got some different settings for Android Studio, IntelliJ, and some different for VS Code as well. But most of my accessibility specific changes are in settings. I don't really use VoiceOver on Mac, but the ones I primarily rely on are Zoom and spoken content. First of all, in Zoom, I have it so that every single time I double tap with 3 fingers or scroll up and down with 3 fingers, it will zoom in and out. Or if I press Option and then use 2 fingers to scroll up and down, it will do the same as well. In spoken content, the only one I have enabled here is speech selection. So every single time I select some text and press Option S, it will speak the text out for me, which is extremely helpful when you're reading documentation or really reading anything, because when you're zooming in and out and trying to follow some text, it can be quite cumbersome to scroll around and read the entire text, where you can just select all your text and have the computer speak out to you. So that's pretty much it in terms of the macOS accessibility settings that I use. I use similar ones on iOS, so Zoom, speech selection, VoiceOver as well. I've got my dynamic type settings, the font size settings set to around 120%. I think that's big enough to where I can zoom in a tiny bit and read everything, but small enough to where I can fit quite a lot of content on the screen as well. That's pretty much it. If you have any more questions, let me know.